All these screaming fans here in Chicago, you can see it. This is the reason why wrestling is where it's at. If you don't know him, you don't know wrestling. This man has held 6 different belts. The only team to win all 3 major belts. The Crockett Cup, this man's a legend in his sport.
How am I not going to like this guy, right? He knows everything.
Now, I want to ask you one question. Welcome to another edition of Wrestling Resource Television. I'm your host, P.L. Myers. Where are we? We're at the Odeum. Now, you're thinking Odeum. You're thinking ECW days, P.L. Myers, Wrestling Resource Television, hand in hand. Back in the day when I started, you know, outside you had Bill Alfonso, Tommy Dreamer, Taz, you know, who else? Balls Mahoney, you had them all. Now we're back here at the Odeum in Villa Park, and we're here for TNA, Total Nonstop Action. You fans of Wrestling Resource Television, seen all last year, interviews with all the great superstars. Well, we're here to cover it here at the Odeum for their house show. So sit back for another jam-packed adventure of Wrestling Resource Television. Welcome to another edition of Wrestling Resource Television. I'm your host, P.L. Myers. We're here with Kip James. First of all, it's great to see you.
Good to see you.
And we're here at TNA, and you know we're backstage at the Odeum in Villa Park. And for you, you know we interviewed you back in WWE, and we got you here now in TNA. Tell us, you know, the differences you've seen, because I mean, you know, being a veteran, you've seen it all.
Yeah, pretty much so. It's you know, TNA brings a different product. I mean, it's the same product, but it's different. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, you got some younger talent coming up, and some new stars, some huge stars that are coming up, and it's good to see because they're still enthusiastic about what we do, and so it's good to see the younger generation that's coming up that I've seen before that now is making a name for themselves, and it's fun. It's really fun here, actually.
Now, for the fans, you know, who've seen you, you know, being this great superstar, what advice do you give to the fans? Because you know, everyone wants to be a wrestler, and like, I want to be like you.
Yeah, it's you know, everybody thinks that wrestlers have this glamorous life. You get to be on TV, you get to go all over the place. Let me assure you, you work for that. You know, it's not all about the glory. You put a bunch of stuff behind it. I mean, I've got a kid in college right now, his first year in college, and I'm like, when did he grow up? I missed it all. But it's, you know, if it's your dream and it's something that you want to do, of course I would say pursue it, but pursue it in the right way, because there's so much stuff out there in schools that people want you to go to, but they want to take your money and not teach you anything. And it's more than just, hey, I want to be a wrestler and that's it. You got to remember, you be traveling all the time. You live out of a suitcase. You barely see your house. You know, there's a lot more in it than people really actually think there is.
Yeah, and with all all that traveling, how tough is it to be a dad? Because I mean, they see that, hey, my dad's a wrestler, but I don't.
You know, it's tough because you miss a lot of things. I mean, I've missed so much stuff I don't even like to think about it. You know, but it's worth it in one way and it's not worth it in another. You have your pros and cons to everything. Anything you do in life has its pros and cons. I mean, do I wish I could trade this for something? No, I don't at all. But you know, the time that I do spend with my kids is their time and their time only. So, you know, that's just goes with the job.
When you do have your off time, you get to spend time with your kids. What else do you like to do for fun?
Whatever my kids are doing at that time. No, that we just got over with my youngest one. Of course, my oldest one went to FSU, so he's gone, and I try to see him as much as I can. And my younger one just started high school, so he just got over football season. And I go hang out with them. I hang out with my wife. I, you know, do what they're doing because they're going into lacrosse now. So that's really consumes me, and I'm happy doing that. I like doing things with my wife and my kids, and I don't have anything where I go, okay, I got to go do this by myself. You know, because I'm on by myself all the time.
But it must be nice because of the TNA schedule being a lot different than the WWE schedule.
Yeah, plus we do all the TV tapings in Orlando where I live, you know, 40 minutes from the studio. So that's a lot easier on me, especially being, you know, as I've been doing this a long time and, you know, I'm not having to travel every single day, you know, it makes it easier.
When you step back in, you know, your career and you see, do you still remember your first match and who you wrestled?
Yes, I do remember my first match because I remember somebody talking about their first match and I was like, wow, I hope they don't ask me that question. It was me and Don Harris, which is one of the twins that used to be here. Yeah, and it was my very first match. I'd been wrestling maybe 3 months. We get in there, and of course, we're the bad guys. And he comes over, brings the babyface team, the good guy over to me, and I punch Donnie right in the mouth. And he was my partner. How good is that? Yeah. And I just stood there going, what just happened here? So that was awful. Yeah, it was awful.
That's not on the best of your highlight tape, you know.
No, it's not on my highlight reel. Don't worry.
When you see all the things that have changed, what's the biggest thing that you've seen change in wrestling?
Wow. Work ethic, I guess. I mean, the way that wrestling has come from, you know, just talking and walking and stuff to where, I mean, if you watch our show, if you watch some of the X Division guys, if I had to do that, I'd be working at McDonald's right now because they're phenomenal. The stuff that they're doing now and the more athletic these kids get and the more athletic these guys are, it's just they pull stuff up I've couldn't even imagine.
You're like, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly, and I will do that. I'm going, nope, I've been in here long enough that I can walk out there and talk to people and they'll just love it as long as I don't have to drop out of the ceiling.
Does it also amaze you because, you know, wrestling has changed so much, but still, I've seen you all over the country, you know, Sign-A-Mania, doing all these autograph sessions. Do you still get butterflies when you see the fans come to you with all the different merchandise you've never seen before or whatever?
No, it's amazing. I mean, I still, to this day, people always ask me, well, how does it feel when you go out there? I said, it feels the same way when I go out there now as it did when I started. I still get butterflies, I still get nervous, but it's a good nervous because I want to give the fans and the people what they came to see. And if they didn't come to see me, I'll make them the next time they come back and want to see me. I still get nervous and I still love intermingling with the fans and I still love it when I see fans, and I love it when I go out there.
With your, you know, successful career, you've had action figures, you're on video games, DVDs. Yeah. What goes through your mind as a wrestler when you make it to that level where they're investing money in you? You know, sometimes, you know, they'll invest it, but really invest figures and stuff. What was the first thing when you saw your own action figure?
I went, there's no way that this is me. It's just not, because the very first one we ever had was Billy and Bart, the Smoking Guns one. And I literally sat there and stared at it, I swear, 30 minutes, going, how did you describe that? I mean, I went from being just a regular guy, and I still think that I'm a regular guy, but people always go, you're famous. I'm going, who's famous? I'm not famous. Yeah, but you got a doll, you got a wrestling figure, action figure in Toys R Us or in Walmart. And I'm like, yeah, but that's goes with the job. I literally stared at it for 30 minutes going, this is unbelievable. It's the weirdest thing ever to go from what I was to having me in a package where you had to buy it.
You're like, wait, why aren't you picking me in the video game? Why are you picking you wrestle me?
Yeah, or when I watch my kids play the wrestling, the video game is going, why am I always getting beat up?
Now you're in TNA, you know, they got video games, action figures, and everything. You know, what are your goals in the next few years here in TNA?
To do what I can to help the younger guys. I mean, pretty much my role now is to help in developing talent, guys that aren't really sure of themselves, not so much sure of themselves, or are not really, okay, what do I do when I do this, or what do I do when I do that, or what do I need to do here, or what do I need to work on? What have you seen me and seen what I need to work on? I like to think that that's what I have to offer now. Is I would love to give all the knowledge that I know, and I don't by any means know it all, because if you think you're in the wrestling business and know it all, you need to get out, you know.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time. And do you know who you're going to be wrestling tonight?
I think it's Rhino.
Uh-oh. You got to be careful. He's been a little edgy lately, as you can see.
He's been a little edgy, and I'd probably kick him right in the face if he tries to gore me.
Wow. One last question. What you know, with the highs and lows of professional wrestling, what keeps you motivated?
The fans. Yeah. I mean, I can have the worst day ever and be back here just moping along and then hear my music and go through the curtain and it's like somebody just hit me with a ton of adrenaline. It's really the fans. I mean, that's who we do this for. It's not the guy you're wrestling, because if it was just the guy we're wrestling, we wouldn't even rent this building. We'd just go in the backyard, set up a ring, and just wrestle each other. But that's not any fun, because you're not doing it in front of anybody and you're not giving anybody any pleasure or entertaining somebody. And that's what I do. That's my thing, is to go out there and entertain the people, make sure that they got their money's worth, and make sure that they have fun. If they're not having fun, I'm not having fun.
Cool. Well, definitely appreciate your time. It's glad to have you back. So anytime you're in Chicago, it's like, let's see, please, we want to make sure you're back here. And as I said, you're always welcome on the show. You're always a delight. And, you know, looking for nothing but for the best out of you and TNA. And I'm glad they have you on board. And this has been Kip James, one of the true class acts of the world of professional wrestling, who's been on the show now twice. And you know what? Third time's a charm, and we're going to get him down next time. So we'll be right back with more Wrestling Resource Television.
Hey, this is Kip James, and you're watching Wrestling Resources TV.
Welcome back to Wrestling Resource Television. It's my pleasure to introduce someone that I've known for a long time, and you know, it's an honor to meet you again and see you again. Rhino, the War Machine from Detroit. Yeah. Tell me your thoughts first of coming back here to the Odeum. You've had memories here.
Yeah, the first time I was out in the Odeum, I think it was in '99, and yeah, this is one of my favorite buildings to wrestle at. You know, the atmosphere is great and the crowds are great, and you know, the turnout, you know, and it's just a great place to wrestle.
And we've seen you on television, and you know, you've had title reigns and you've had success. Tell me your thoughts on TNA. You know, it's changed from, you know, Asylum down when Nashville we saw it, you know, up to now.
Well, it's definitely grown over the years, and you know, it's still a young company, being in business only 7 years, and you know, companies in wrestling, to be around for 7 years is, you know, a lot to say for the company. And, you know, to grow as fast as TNA has grown, you know, in the short 7 years it's been around is definitely a success story. And, you know, it's growing every day, and I'm glad to be part of it.
You know, currently right now, you know, the situation is, we saw you on television. I mean, it seems to me it comes from the heart. You know, there's no, you know, it's coming from the heart of how you feel and your thoughts. You know, we saw on television your thoughts about, you know, TNA kind of pushing the vets out.
Well, that's the thing, you know, I mean, a lot of people think I'm, you know, it's a conspiracy, you know, and this and that, and I'm a little paranoid, as Bubba would say, but, you know, the thing is obviously TNA management as a company, they want the best for TNA. And, I mean, you can say I'm wrong, fans, but I think, you know, they're going for more of a look, you know, like, you know, your Hernandez's, your Matt Morgan's, your AJ Styles, your, you know, Kip James, you know, the well-chiseled, you know, physique and this and that. And, you know, I mean, you can have it both. You could be a great wrestler and, you know, have a couple Twinkies here and there like myself. So TNA management, don't think you're going to shove me out the door.
Well, and also from your standpoint, you've been, you know, here for a long time, and they brought in a lot of big outside name guys that came and left. Ratings didn't do anything, but the guys that were in the day-to-day trenches were you. I mean, it's almost like you're telling them, hey, you brought in guys that have come and gone. I'm still here, and I'm still producing.
Yeah, you make a good point there. You know, the guys that did come in and, you know, they've stayed, you know, 2-3 years, you know, they definitely did make an impact, you know. But, you know, I'm here to stay, and, you know, you can try to push me out the door, but I'm going to stick around.
When you've seen all the changes of TNA, what's the biggest change that you've seen in your 7 years?
I'd probably say the addition of Kurt Angle, you know, and I think they're trying to push him out the door too, you know, but that's, you know, I mean, hopefully they see what I'm, you know, saying, and hopefully they stick behind me, and, you know, we fight, you know, for our right to be in TNA.
Well, I've seen you in your career for so many years, from ECW and now here, and, you know, I'm guessing you're enjoying the road schedule just a little bit better, because I know back in the day there's probably a lot more traveling.
Yeah, you know, actually, definitely it's picked up with TNA, and this year we've done a lot of live events, you know, across the country and overseas, and it's good for the fans because we come to your town, and you don't have to travel, you know, 13 hours in a car to go watch a show. You know, so it's definitely good for the fans. Not all of the shows I've been at, you know, and that's another reason why I'm thinking they're trying to push me out the door. But next year our schedule is it's pretty booked up. You know, the company, yeah. TNA. I'm gonna try and make every show possible. If they don't book me, I'm just gonna go.
Well, you know what? I think they fail to realize that you know a lot of famous, successful people that bring a lot to the table, i.e. Curtis Granderson, who is from Chicago, played at UIC, and now plays for the Detroit Tigers, you know, who's been at quite a few shows. And, I mean, the only person that I know that supports Detroit more than you is Kid Rock.
Yeah, you know, well, the thing is Curtis, he's a good friend of mine, and I know his parents, and very polite people, and very good family, and Curtis is a great stand-up guy, and I haven't talked to him about the whole TNA thing, trying to push out the guys, the veterans, you know, and you know, but hopefully he sees things my way, or you know, we might not be friends anymore. No, but he's a really good guy and from Chicago, and I think I feel Chicago is like a second home to me.
Well, no, with all the success and everything that you do, what do you like to do for fun when you're, you know, off the road?
For fun, obviously catching Tigers games, and yes, and I have hit up Curtis for a couple tickets. I do have season tickets, so, but on the off days, I definitely hit him up a couple times for tickets. I don't want to bother him because he's there to play a game, and I don't want to break that and create a distraction for him. But yeah, definitely hitting up baseball games, and in a way, it's kind of a blessing having a lot of time off in the summer because I go boating too. Baseball and boating, what more important in things in life?
Now, have you got Kid Rock to this new almost team of Detroit? You know, you, Curtis, and Kid Rock.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, Curtis is a, you know, Chicago native, but we consider him family in Detroit, and, you know, part of Detroit, and Kid Rock and Eminem and Uncle Kracker, and, you know, the list goes on and on, so.
Now, because, you know, when you first started wrestling, we were talking to Kip James about this. Do you still remember your first match?
Oh, my first match. Yes, Denny Cass in Windsor, Ontario. Yeah, it was, I had hair probably to about right here. Looked like Shemp from the Three Stooges. I think I wrestled like Shemp, if he wrestled. Yeah, it's funny to look back and watch some of your earlier matches.
I'm guessing you probably get asked this a lot of time because you know you have the passion for the business and you're a part of ECW. You know, the new ECW. You know, what's your thoughts when you look back on what your ECW what meant to you?
You know, it was very edgy. It was very different. You know, and it was something special, you know, at that point in life. But, you know, the ECW that's on TV now, I'll watch it every once in a while. I try to watch as much wrestling as possible just to stay current and educate myself. And still, I mean, if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't be in wrestling today. But, you know, I started out as a fan. Then when I got into wrestling, you know, really focused on learning how to wrestle. And you have to watch what's going on today or the wrestling world will pass you up, you know. So I stay current, and, you know, it is what it is. And I think they do have some good wrestling talent, so. Now,
with the biggest change, you know, you've been part of TNA. What's another big change that you've seen here in TNA?
Just the growth. You know, it just more shows added to the schedule. and just the growth of the company, going overseas and working with New Japan Pro Wrestling over in Japan. I mean, that's big, you know.
And also, how's it like to deal with Dixie Carter? Because she seems like a really class act. She really likes to be hands-on with the fans and everything.
Yeah, she's definitely hands-on with the fans, and she's a big part. And that's another key to the success of a wrestling company, is because, you know, the CEO is part, you know, she's in the locker room, not literally in the locker room, but she's there and working hands-on. And, you know, I think, you know, she still hasn't called me, you know, asked my opinion on a lot of stuff, which still upsets me, Dixie.
Well, we'll send some notices down to Nashville to let them know, because now when you look at this, I say almost a new attitude, or more of a heartful passion. I mean, this is almost like you're speaking from the heart. What are your going to be goals in the next few months here in TNA?
Well, my goals is just to smarten up some of the guys like the Dudleys and Kurt Angle, and you know, as many wrestlers as possible. That, hey, TNA is going to try to push, you know, some of the veterans out, and let's not let that happen.
Well, you know, we always wish you nothing but success. Been a class act from ECW days on the road to now here in TNA, and we wish you both nothing success. And you know, I think you might have to call those powerful friends and Curtis and Kid Rock and get them in your corner and show to TNA that, you know, you are a wrestling superstar.
Yes, for sure, and definitely from the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corrigan, yes. And I'll have him bring down his guitar and maybe crack Dixie over the head with it. He probably won't go for that, but someone at least.
Well, cool. We'll be right back with more Wrestling Resource Television here at the Odeum for TNA's house show.
Hey, when Bill Alfonso, Daddy, when he's in the Chicago area, I watch Wrestling Resource TV.
Welcome back to Wrestling Resource Television. I'm your host, P.L. Myers. Look at this.
Yep, where's the gun show at, huh?
Need some tickets to get in.
Didn't know this was a bodybuilding competition tonight.
A little bit of both,
You got some, and you got the guns going.
We got a little bit, yeah.
I know. We're at Jay Lethal and Consequence Creed. Tell me your thoughts of coming to Chicago once again.
We love Chicago. We were here last year for Bound for Glory, tore the house down, and now we're back to do it again, baby.
Yeah, but of course, I live in Florida, so it's a little cold here for me.
A little chilly.
I had to bring my jacket, you know.
Sorry.
I like the fun in the sun, but you know how they do things here in Chicago, don't you?
We got here, it's raining, it's freezing. That's the only bad thing. People love them. Places, love them.
Yep.
Weather,
Place like this, you got to make your own fun. You know what I'm talking about? Huh?
And I know you guys are probably going to start making the fun.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. He can't wear his flip-flops. He's freaking out.
Freak out. Big freak out.
That's what it does to him. That's what it does to him. That's Chicago.
You guys have just tore up the roof here in TNA. You know, tag team champions. You know, you guys have been bonding very well. And for you, what makes Jay Lethal such a great tag partner?
Look at him.
I know that, but I want to get your opinion.
Those sweet glasses.
Oh yeah, right there. Cool pair of shades. Yep.
What else would I want the tag team partner? He's a great wrestler. He's hilarious. He's got the best wrestling gear next to mine.
And you don't want to see me take these glasses off. You don't want to see that.
And he can see into your soul. Once he sees into your soul, he beats you.
Yep, they're going to see it tonight, though.
Tonight, against the World Elite. We're taking them out. Taking them out.
Damn, right there. Gone World Elite? Don't think so. Yep. Right
And with you've had such a great singles career. What makes him such a great tag?
Well, I'm going to tell you one giant secret. You always need somebody there watching your back. Yeah. And if you don't trust them, then this world's going to be a pretty lonely place. So you got to find someone you trust. Someone to watch.
Watching it.
Yep. That formula worked so well, we became tag team champions.
We're gunning for him again.
Yep.
Two time.
Two time. Bam. 2 times.
1, 2.
Yep.
Second time.
It ain't no alphabet. Yeah.
Numbers, baby.
So was it? Since you got the tag champs numbers, when are they going to give you a shot against them?
We're working our way up the ranks right now. We're earning it. Working for that #1 contender spot. We're getting
tag team champions a little scared right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got the chills in the bones, you know. Because they know
if I were them, I wouldn't give us a shot either.
No, because they don't want to get beat. They don't want to get beat.
Nope. 2-time champions coming up now.
With the success you've had in TNA, you've had all the fans, all the women, all this. When the fans come to you, says, what advice do you have? Because everyone wants to become you growing up. They want to become you. All these kids look up to you. What advice do you have for them?
He's the ladies' man. This guy.
I don't know. That's Jay. He's the ladies' man.
Look at that baby.
Hey. I got to concentrate on school. I tell the kids to stay in school. I'm working on a PhD right now in psychology.
This man's a genius.
That's what the glasses are for. That's what the glasses are for. You got to have the brain.
Actually, the genius is my brother, but that's a different story.
Abs right there. Count them. With the brains, with Jay Lethal watching my back, we're going places.
Yep. Where's the competition, the workout competition, huh? That's a little side note. You need to be doing that on the side. With a little cash.
With all your workouts, how many hours you guys spend in the gym?
It depends. It depends. My schedule is a little bit different than Jay's, but I'm in there maybe 10 to 12 hours a week.
I don't know about the gym. Like I said, living in Florida, the beach is my gym. Yeah, a little fun in the sun, do a little swimming, a little breaststroke. That's my work,
What do you know about that? The breaststroke. You know about that?
Yep. Eat a Slim Jim, catch a couple waves. Yep. That's all you need. Yeah.
Lake Michigan's a little cold for you to be catching waves right now.
That's another thing. That's what I'm talking about.
We're staying out of the water.
You gotta make your own fun here. And tonight we're gonna have plenty of fun when we're beating the crap out of world elite.
That's why you come to the wrestling show. It's indoors, gonna be warm, nice.
TNA
music, 6-sided ring, wrestlers on the planet, and lethal consequences.
What else do you need, huh?
I don't know what else I need. All I know is that
your tie is crooked right now.
What is this? Is this real diamonds? Is that?
I got my good.
What do you do on this?
I think your macho-ness has just really knocked off the tie off my chest.
Yeah, you could use little tassels on that outfit.
We can fix this up.
Okay.
A little more colors, a little dark.
A little bit of doom and gloom. That's
Yep. Match the rain outside. Maybe some yellow, some pink. You know, we can help. We can fit you up.
Can I get a hat too?
Don't know about the hat.
We'll start small.
Yeah. Baby steps for you.
A little bit.
Giant steps for us.
Don't want to be on thin ice. Don't want to be on thin ice.
Thin ice. Yeah. Two-time tag team champion.
Yes.
Tonight the world elite goes down. Yeah.
Well, all I know is that those are the guys. We'll be right back with more of Wrestling Resource Television.
This is your Dreamwave World Champion, Austin Roberts, and you're watching Wrestling Resource with P.L. Myers.
Well, there you have it, fans. Another great edition of Wrestling Resource Television. I'm your host, P.L. Myers. We'd like to thank the people from TNA, all our guests. We also like to thank Ross Foreman. We also like to thank Craig from the TNA PR staff, and you, the fans, for watching Wrestling Resource Television. I'm your host, P.L. Myers. If you have any questions, just email me, and we'll get your answers here on the air for you. Once again, I've been your host, P.L. Myers. We'll see you next time here on Wrestling Resource Television.
This man has held 6 different belts. The only team to win all 3 major belts. The Crockett Cup, this man's a legend in his
How am I not going to like this guy, right? He knows everything.
Now, I want to ask you one question.